Happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Final Whistle here on the Bama Standard Network. See, I'm here with my amazing crew, Cass. But before I introduce them, tune in from all your social medias, tell a friend, hit that like, subscribe button, and join the chat. Get involved, not invited. In our show. We get a little crazy here. We got a lot of great topics to talk about tonight. I'm excited to get things started. But before we get started, let's go around the horn and introduce my Avengers. As you can see up top right, the man, the myth, the legend, Lucian Grace. How are you, sir?
Matt, I'm doing great, man. It's Tuesday night. I'm here with the Avengers. We got some interesting things to dive into. I can't wait. Roll daggum tide. Let's go.
Can't wait. Roll daggum tide. And ladies and gentlemen, the double agent who's, Bama by heart / Lane Kiffin, Joey Freshwater, body double / Sydney Sweeney, #1 fan club creator. That's his signal on the sideline if he's a coach.
Coach, I can't concentrate with these bouncing in my brain.
Ladies and gentlemen, my guy, this is double agent himself, Daniel Petty. How are you?
Man, glad to be here with my guys on a Tuesday night talking a little ball. No place on the planet I'd rather be, fellas.
I know that's right. And ladies and gentlemen, our lead recruiting analyst, I guess this is the better looking brother of the James brother. Is that how it goes, Dan?
You need to say that when he's on air. It is confirmed.
It is confirmed. And our lead recruiting analyst, Mr. Dan James. How are you, sir?
I'm always good, brothers. It's Tuesday night. I'm here with my Avengers. You know what I'm saying? We got another power information field show. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it. And before we get to it, be sure to get in the chat. I know Van Edwards is in the chat. I know Kenneth is in the chat. Listen, get that chat up and going. Comment, share to all your friends. We got an exciting show. But as Dan said, let's get it. If you want to get your lawn enhanced with the finest stone in the Southeast, go to Lamstone Inc. at realrockstone.com. Daniel Petty, can you go more in depth on how amazing, awesome Lamstone Inc. is?
Absolutely. If you're wanting to build that dream home or have that beautiful stone in your yard, now's the time. Go to realrockstone.com. Lamstone Company, located in Aniana, Alabama, the home of Alabama's own Lamont Russell, and get that beautiful limestone today. Located in Aniana, like I said, one of the oldest, most trusted sources in the state. Tell them we sent you using the promo code the Bama Standard and receive 10% off your purchase of stone today. That's it. Lamstone Company, realrockstone.com. Hit them up. Get that beautiful natural stone after the show, of course.
After the show. Go to Lamstone, realrockstone.com. I did not know Lamont Russell was from Aniana.
Lamont Russell is from Aniana, Alabama. That's one of the first things my wife, I remember she was telling me, like when she was in, grade school or younger, whatever, he would come back and talk. So yeah, he was like a legend. Yeah, he's an Aniana guy.
Lamont's a good dude, man.
Have you met Lamont?
Yeah, I met him a couple of times. He does. We kind of work in the same industry, so I'll run into him and stuff like that.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So, Aniana. Okay, so guys, we got an impactful show. I hope everybody's had a great week. We're getting close to kickoff. I'm so excited. Alabama kicking off versus those Knowles down there and Mike Norvell down in Tallahassee. But guys, let's get to a few topics. Let's talk about players that need to have a big money year. Guys who needs to show out, they got a lot on the line if they're trying to improve their draft stock, maybe sneak in the first round, be an All-American, all those type of things. And we have this segment titled, Who Has to Put On for the Bag? So I'm gonna start with our lead recruiting analyst, the one and only Dan James, to get us kicked off on which player that you feel needs to have a big money year this fall.
I'm gonna say just to give one. This is a big year for the
Give
money.
one offense, one defense.
Okay, good. Okay, good. Okay, well, defense is easy. I'm gonna say the money Jackson. This is a money year for him. Had a big year last year, and he understands the situation. That he's in, and the season he has ahead of him. A lot of opportunity to make. He has all the measurables. But a big season will definitely put him up into the top 15 range at the cornerback position. So he has all that ahead of him. And I think he understands that. On the offensive side of the ball, I'm going to say none other than Caden Proctor. This is a great opportunity. It's definitely a money year for him, protecting the backside of, Ty Simpson and anchoring that offensive line. It definitely is going to be a big year for Caden Proctor.
I like how Dan goes with a big money here and says the money, no pun intended. I like that. I think those are two solid picks, especially with Caden Proctor. You look at the noise that Will Campbell made last year for LSU, being the first tackle off the board. I'm quite sure, he has if he can be the top tackle in the SEC, he could have that big money year. I'm gonna go to Mr. Petty, who has to have the big bag year for you. One offensive, one defensive player from Bama this year.
On the offense, I'm gonna go with maybe a little off the grid here. Maybe not. Maybe this is what everybody else would think. But you transfer in your final year. It's kind of a contract year. And the known is Ryan Williams, but man, all the word is Isaiah Horton has an NFL body and has all the intangibles, but it's kind of unknown for us yet here at Alabama. So this is a big year for him, coupling up with Ryan Williams to set himself up for the NFL. So I think Horton, and this is his 1 year tryout in the SEC at Alabama to get to the NFL. I think he's. Do I?
You gonna say Dan?
Yeah, he can come back.
Oh, he can't.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Well, he can't. Yeah, I guess I just assume everybody's a mercenary now trying to get to the league after 1 year. But I think Horton, I think he has a lot to prove coming to Alabama. And if he does have a big year, he can go pro. If not, he can come back if it doesn't work out. On the other side, man, I'm going to go with a linebacker. I was looking at Lou when I said this. I thought those eyes might turn. Man, Deontay Lawson. 0. You got to this is a contract year for you, buddy. This is your last chance to prove that you are an NFL linebacker, that you've got the sideline to sideline speed, that there's some intangibles in the game that have got to get a little bit better. But I mean, they're possibly there. So I think this is a big year for Deontay.
Those are two great picks. Deontay Lawson on the defensive end, and Horton, here's a who, Isaiah Horton. I'm quite sure he's looking to have a pretty big year where he can maybe test those NFL waters. So see what type of grade he might could get. So, Lushawn, I'm interested to hear your take on this. Which two players on the Alabama football team needs to have a big bag money year?
I'm actually surprised. You guys only got one off my list, and I had a decently extensive list. But for me, it's more of the player who has to put on for themselves personally, not who I think is going to put on the most for the bag. And that person to me that has to put on the most for the defense is Keon Sabb. Him getting hurt last year and him knowing all the talent that's behind him, and there's a lot behind him, this is his last year for him to actually put himself in a position for NFL scouts to see him play, because he can't wait any longer, because we got some guys waiting in the wings that are chomping at the bits, and they're coming. Plus, with him not having a full season last year, there isn't really a lot of tape on him at Alabama. I know he's got good tape for Michigan, but I feel like with a strong season, this year, he would be able to maybe even grade out in the first round. I know that's expecting a lot, but from where he left off last season, if he keeps that same energy, I have no doubts. And on the offensive side, I'm going to go a little bit different. Give me Josh Cuevas. I think that he's been in this system enough time, and it's been a long time, too long, since Alabama actually put a tight end in the meaningful rounds in the NFL draft. So give me Josh Cuevas on the offensive side of football.
I like that.
But I also have one personally that I think is going to put on for the bag, and that's none other than Jaden Roberts. Jaden Roberts has been a staple around this Alabama community for years. This year is his time to go. Tyler Booker's gone. You know, the only guy that really overshadowed him is gone now. It's Jaden's time, and I think Jaden's going to turn a lot of heads. I think he might even be the player that a whole bunch of people aren't really expecting. Yeah, he's a top-graded offensive lineman, but I think he can finish in the top 2, realistically, especially if he stays healthy.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head towards the end. If these guys like Sav, Roberts stay healthy, Damani Jackson, I think their play, with it being such a long season, they're going to have enough really, really, really good top tape to really improve those scouts. So I got one offensive player. I'm going to go with Jam Miller. I think Jam Miller needs to have a pretty big-time year. I don't think he needs to have a kind of a, as a young kid say, mid type of year. I think he needs to have some big-time plays in Alabama's run this year. If he could do that and kind of separate himself, I think that will help him tremendously. I think last year he had spurts, but if he could be really, really, really consistent and just be dominant, because I think he's in the same situation as Keon Sav. I mean, we have some absolute horses right behind him. And I'm looking at Richie Young, and I think Richie Young, I'm really high on this kid. Very explosive, very bigger frame. So I think Jam needs to have a pretty big year. Definitely, I think he's solidified himself in the passing game. But, if he can really stir up, in between the tackles, explosive runs, all those good things, being a complete back under Robert Gillespie, I think he'll be setting himself up. We all know that running backs don't go that high, but if he can put some productivity together, he could be a steal in next year's draft, maybe in one of those, mid to mid rounds. So my other player, I'm gonna lay it out there. I think Ty Simpson. I think he needs to have a big year. He's got a lot of momentum. He's going to have to. I think he's in the same place. He's got Keelan Russell on his heels. And I think the more fire Keelan puts on Ty, the better Ty quarterback we're going to get come game time. So I think Ty Simpson can go out there and blow it out. He's got the weapons. He's got the offensive coordinator. If he gets the offensive line, he's got the running backs. If he goes out there and plays his game and just be explosive when we need to be, when we need him to be, I think he could have a big year, and maybe if not, boost his draft stock. So, anybody else? Anybody want to add, since Lou pulled a Chris CBS James receipt one on us and added one more? But no, that's technically not Chris, because Chris would have added 10 more.
Well, yeah, I mean, y'all pretty much took everything on my list minus one name, but yeah, I also think that Cam Dewberry can be put on this list too. I think he comes in with a lot to prove, and as we've alluded to in these last couple of weeks, that we got some freshmen and some underclassmen that are going to push him. And I mean, it's his last year, so I mean, It's time to put up or shut up.
He has
So,
another
Cam's
year
a good
too.
one to put on that list.
I thought he was a senior.
No, I think he has 2 years.
I think he's a senior, isn't he?
He's a senior.
Okay, I thought he had 2 years to play one. I don't know. We'll see.
Now look, does he have the COVID, or is that done?
No, I don't think he was in college. I don't think he was in school for the COVID year.
Let me check.
Listen, the COVID thing only applies to quarterbacks who are just average and they play at the University
19.
of Georgia.
TJ Finley.
Or TJ Finley.
Or Vanderbilt, or they got all those smart
Vanderbilt,
people tricking you.
He's like 30 years old.
Wait, is DJ Ugaleleo still in college?
Yeah,
Because I know he's like
Gotta
40.
be, right?
I know
No,
he's
he-
like 40.
He's easily pushing 40. While Lou's looking up, Petty, you got another name?
Justin Jefferson.
Oh,
Yeah, he's a senior.
Yeah.
Justin Jefferson. Can you go a little bit more?
Well,
in depth on
yeah, I mean, LT Overton. Come on, man. It's contract year, LT. He's got top 15 talent, but he's got to have top 15 production. So I mean, he could shoot up the draft board. I think Roberts. I thought that was a good answer, Lou. I think he falls under that, man. That kid has got. If he has a year he's capable of, man, offensive lineman go in that top 10 like it's nothing, and he's got size you can't create.
See, I think LT and Caden Proctor are in the same boat here. They've had good seasons so far. They're not the ones that need to put on for the bag. They're the ones that have to lead this damn team. They have a whole different responsibility of what they need to do. LT Overton doesn't need to put on for the bag. He did that in his seasons. This is the season he has to show that he is freaking him. Caden Proctor has to show this season that he is freaking him. So there's some guys that have to go a step beyond putting on for this bag, because they have not only been given national spotlight love and SEC love, they have people in the NFL draft boards putting them high up there. So they have to just actually perform. And that's, I think, a little bit more important.
Dan, could you elaborate on the Justin Jefferson pick? I think that was a really good, solid pick as your other choice.
Yeah, definitely. He earned, an extra season. He was granted that. So, I think this definitely, without a doubt, he had to capitalize on it, so, he appealed it and he won. So, this is a huge opportunity, no doubt it's a money year for him, and him and Lawson coming back this year, that allowed us to be able to upgrade our linebacker room, which would have been a weakness going into the season. Now it's a strength.
I like that. Justin Jefferson. Some really good names. Really, really, really good names. Chat, give us some names that you think, and let us know if y'all see any names that needs to have a big money year. See everybody saying facts. Somebody threw a major curve. Somebody said Jalen Backway has to show up after leaving or pay me actions. That's a valid point. That is a valid point. But my thing is,
does he get that chance?
My thing is he went to a very deep side of the ball position group. I think his best bet is return for sure.
Hard to show up from the sidelines.
Yeah.
He's got to get through he's buried in the depth chart right now, isn't he?
I believe so. It's very challenging. Kennedy says Lawson number 1 for sure. 5 Adam says James Smith. Lou, I want to get your take on this.
As far as what? Does James Smith gonna show out, bro?
Yeah.
You ain't gotta worry about the Carver showing out.
Yeah,
I'll tell you that right now. That's one defensive lineman that I'm actually excited for what he does this year, because of the energy and the get off the ball that he showed last season, and just some of the workouts. on what he's been able to do with his body in some of these offseason workouts, I am going to be so thrilled watching him knock opposing quarterbacks in the dirt. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I think
James, ain't nobody worried about James Smith. The other team better worry about number 23.
I agree. So that was a really good topic, guys. Thanks to the chat for having those guys. I see James Smith being an absolute beast on the field in Bryant-Denny and wrecking offensive linemen's havoc. So, guys, let's move to our next topic, which is the most dynamic duo. And who do you think is going to be the most dynamic duo on the Alabama football team this year? I'm interested to hear you guys' takes. Let's keep the same. No, let's change it up. Let's go with my main man, Daniel Petty.
Oh, I get to go first.
Let him to go first. Give my guy some love.
I'm for once, man. I'm not going to get all creative. I'm going to take the easy pick and go out of the gate with one of the names I've already used and the guy he's matched up with. Give me Horton and Williams, Hollywood and Horton. Your position, Matt. I think they represent the Matt Caddell position very well this year.
They're going to destroy that. They're going to crush that.
I think those two kids light it up.
Do you have a nickname for them? Horton
Was it Hollywood? And here's a who.
Hollywood Horton.
Hollywood Horton.
Hollywood who's the who?
Hollywood who's the who. I like that. So Daniel Petty goes with easy a layup with Ryan Williams.
Yeah, I'm going layup.
Isaiah Horton. I'm interested to hear what Dan has because I'm quite sure Dan's got a couple in his list. So Dan, I know you probably have one offense or one defense, or I don't know how you're gonna do that. Yeah, but I know you have some really good options on your list. So who do you think is going to be one of the premier duos on Alabama's football team this year?
Okay, that's an easy choice for me because to me, I think it's the best position group in the country. So it's the best tandem in the country, and that's Damani Jackson and Xavier Brown. So that's an easy choice for me on the defense side. I'm gonna let Lou go, then I give another one.
Okay, Mr. Graves, the floor is yours. I want to get your take on who do you think's gonna be a dynamic duo.
Now, you guys know how I get down. I did this a different way. How I went about my dynamic duos is because I had a bunch of them, but I gave them specific things that they're going to do. So I'll give you my top tandem, which I think is actually the greatest duo in the country. And it's in the same position group, except it's the back half. Give me Keon Sabb and Bray Hubbard, labeled in the turnover kings, because those two are going to have the most turnovers caused and recovered and intercepted on the team. That's my defensive guys. Now, my offensive guys, I could have gone a bunch of different ways, but y'all know how I get down. I like the trenches. So give me this bully pair of Parker Brailsford and Jaden Roberts to be mowing down opposing defensive line as the most impactful duo on the offense. Because you know what? If you ain't got no road graders up front, that offense ain't going to go nowhere.
There you go.
That is very, 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 very true. Dan, flipping back to you after Lou giving his Parker Brailsford, Jaden Roberts, and his Keon Sabb and Bray Hubbard. Before we leave, before I give it to you, Dan, is Bray Hubbard, let's say say he has a big time year this year. Can he go to the draft next year?
Without a doubt.
So he's eligible next year for next year.
He's a junior. He's a junior.
Oh, I think he has Cooper DeJean athleticism, whatever you want to say. He can easily I think he's going to fly off the draft boards, in my opinion.
Yeah, former quarterback.
Well, he's athletic as I don't know what. His football IQ is second to none. So, Dan, I didn't mean I want to interrupt, but I just had to give that my Bray Hubbard plug out there.
Okay, yeah, my second tandem, Kennedy said it in the chat. It's Jam Miller and Richard Young.
Ooh.
It's going to be a very, very dynamic duo. Great complement to one another. So these guys that can, you give them the ball, between the two of them 30, 40 times a game if you could, if you had to, and they could get it done. So that's my dynamic duo, and they form a very formidable punch. But I expect them to get the bulk of the carries in this offense, and I think both of them, are two other that we could have listed that are up for a money year. So I expect big year for both of them.
Listen, I'm gonna give you mine, and we kind of mentioned one of the guys. I'm not gonna give him the Bash Brothers, but I'm gonna call them the Carver Crew, and that's James Smith and Quay Russo. I think those guys are gonna be wrecking havoc year 2 under Kane Womack's defense. I think Quay can do is amazingly versatile. I think he's going to make a lot of noise on the defensive end, linebacker, wherever, all across the field. And I think you look at James Smith pushing up front. I mean, we mentioned him, highlighted him earlier, how he's a monster. I think those two guys representing Carver, Montgomery, Alabama, those guys are going to put on this year forward. So I give the Carver Crew my dynamic duo. Anybody else got any? Oh, Lou?
Yeah. I really want to do these two because these are actually my favorite. Give me the dynamic duo of third down, let your hair down and go, Justin Hill and Jordan Raynaud. I'm going to tell you something on third down, boys. These two are about to have a sack fest like we ain't seen since, I don't know, Rashawn Evans and company type stuff. That's what I'm talking about on third down. Just a Tim Williams type that comes off the edge and just kill a quarterback. And for my next one, and this is my favorite, give me this explosive pair of true freshmen and Latier Brooks and Dijon Lee making explosive plays every time them cleats hit the ground. Because every time those two hit the field, I promise you, it's going to be some memorable shit. And I mean that shit.
Literally. Drop the mic. Yeah, Latier Brooks. I mean, guys, we forget how talented this team is. I mean, we are loaded.
We ain't got enough time to talk about it all.
We talked about it the other night. ESPN, FBI released their percentages for SEC teams to make the playoffs, and there's 3 teams that stand out, and then there's a big drop off. And Crimson Tide's one of the 3 right now, man. Even the computers are recognizing. I think all these fans that are showing up, we've got some Georgia. I know this Texas guy keeps showing up. They thought that last year's little bit of momentary lapse is what you're going to get, and I think they're going to be in for a rude awakening.
And that's where I wanted to go.
Hope that.
That's where I wanted to go. I think so many people. I feel like you had your chance. If you didn't capitalize on Bama in the transition year last year, I think your window is kind of closed. Like, we were complete, not really good last year. Just really, really bad. And we
didn't have an offense. Our defense was tight.
Yeah, but I'm just saying overall, not to Alabama standards. You know what I'm saying? We weren't that great, in my opinion, but we still was knocking on the door, and we easily could have finished, 2 games here. Obviously the Vanderbilt, Oklahoma games, we're easily knocking on the door and probably peaking at the right time. But you look at the job that Courtney Morgan, the staff, Kalen DeBoer, getting Ryan Grubb back in T-Town, The amount of talent you mentioned, Lacier Brooks, Dijon Lee, Chuck McDonald, Abdul Sanders, and going in year 2 with the staff, I think Alabama's going to make a lot of noise. So I'm excited, and I think the train's going to keep rolling in T-Town, is my opinion. So
I think Alabama have one of the top 2 or 3 offenses in college football, or at least the SEC next year.
Yeah, for sure. Any other names, duos? I thought I had one that came to my mind, Ty and Ryan Williams. I thought that was pretty easy. But I don't know. I got some other ones that I'll hold back.
What about Justin Jefferson, Deontay Lawson?
No.
I knew Lou was gonna be like,
Hell no.
Cover your ears, Lou.
No.
How about that left side?
Proctor, one of them gets a freaking penalty for hitting somebody.
Proctor and Dewberry on that left side, man, that could become a strong side for Bama to ride off the tail of.
hey, I got one.
I think the whole offensive line actually has.
I got one. We're gonna call these guys. I'm thinking wrestling names. The Bash Brothers, Kane Proctor and Michael Carroll. Oh.
Okay. I got one for you since we're doing that. And I actually had this one down. Give me James Smith and Jeremiah Beeman. I like that combination.
I can't help but every time I hear his name, think of Any Given Sunday.
Willie Beeman.
Every time. Willie Beeman.
I keep the fitness.
All the ladies.
Lou, I had Jeremiah Beeman and Jordan Renaud as my other duo that I was going to roll with.
Hey, as long as you have my guys, man, I'm telling you, Jordan Renaud about to go off this season. He ain't afraid to hit somebody in the mouth.
I got another sleeper. This is my last one. Damani Jackson and Cam Calhoun.
See, I had that too. I had that as my number 2.
Because I think we're going to be so versatile where we can put Brown inside, do whatever we want. But Petty, what's up?
Matt,
I'm looking for the ghost of Chris James because he's all up.
I know, right? I know.
He's all up in this topic right now.
He's all in.
Yeah, Chris.
What are we gonna say, Lou?
Yeah, I mean, I got 2 more I'm gonna put on there because I kind of think that this actually matters because when Alabama is doing good and they're successful, they're knocking people's dicks in the dirt on all 3 phases of the damn game. And one phase we ain't knocked no dicks in the dirt lately is special teams. So give me the most dynamic duo to knock some heads loose and Nakai Hill-Green and Abdul Sanders on special teams because we need to make some hats loose. Like, if we're kicking off, we need to inflict pain from the start like we used to. Y'all remember when a guy by the name, I don't know what his name, Reuben Foster, used to start off the game cracking somebody's head, or Mac Wilson coming down and busting somebody's helmet? What happened to that team after that happened? They crumbled.
Reuben was the most famous part. I think Mac Wilson was the most consistent at it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Glad you said
I don't know, man. Reuben hit everybody like
everybody.
Reuben hit
everybody. Even in practice, Reuben, he only knew one way.
We need another Reuben. Bring me another Reuben, please. Morgan, that's all I want for Christmas.
Most dynamic duo, Chris James in the crock pot. Can you smell me?
Big Van has entered the chat.
Oh man, that is hysterical. Somebody had a good one. Somebody said Keeley and Edric Hill.
Yeah. You got it. My bad, Lou. I was doing it.
No, you good.
I'm so used to it.
That was a pretty solid.
Edric Hill came on this spring. I heard good things about him. I'm still waiting for 31. The jury's still out on him.
Yeah, I think he's gonna make some noise for sure. So, guys, that was a pretty exciting topic. This is what we do here at the Final Whistle. We give you a little bit more different type of topics than what mostly all the other Bama content shows kind of cover. So, guys, let's go to I want to hop in and do recruiting real quick. Oh, let's do our ad first. Let's go to, if you were looking to recruit the best tile, the 5-star tile, that is a Crimson Tide title tile at whatwillsports.com. Get you an amazing 5-star title towel at whatwillsports.com. Use the promo code STANDARD. I'm laughing. Please use the promo code STANDARD. Lou, Petty, y'all would love Dan Sweet. He said the most dynamic duo. Hugh Freeze and Verizon Wireless.
Yes.
Oh man, that was a good one.
Oh my goodness.
Burner phones, Hugh. Burner phones, buddy. You and Governor Bentley. No, Governor Bentley actually knew that about
Oh, Governor Bentley. I forgot about Governor Bentley. Oh, my gosh. Oh, man. Okay, so let's get to our next topic. I want to shift gears. I want to get to some recruiting, starting with Dan. Alabama's had 2 solid, great weekends of official visits, but Dan, can you just go in on our latest recruitment? I know you mentioned some guys that are probably we need to keep an eye on for commitments, but just talk about the big-time commitment we got from the talented tackle.
Yeah, he's a tackle, but Alabama projecting him at guard. Sam Utu. He came in, he measured in at 6'5", 330 pounds. He's a guy that's very fit for this offense, that we'll be running. He's athletic, he's very bendy. He's quick in his set, he has quite a punch. He can get out, he can pin and pull, he can get all the combo blocks, the reach blocks, he can ankle block. It's a lot of things to like about this kid. And he came to on the visit. There was his second visit with his family. He came once in the spring. Alabama had a lot of momentum then. Then he didn't return for a while. He went and visited Washington, and they had a lot of momentum. It looked like he was going to commit to Washington, but Bama always felt comfortable with him. And this is a tremendous job that Courtney Morgan and Coach Cap did, so hats off to them, being able to get them back into the fold. We kind of felt early once he arrived back on campus that, he was a guy that we were going to get into the class. Another one was to keep an eye on, I thought we knocked it out the park with this weekend was Gerard Edwards, safety, 6'2", 205 pounds. Safety out of St. Francis, number 2 overall safety. He's a big hitter. I was talking to Chris about him. Landon Collins was a big safety that could hit. Gerard Edwards, he's a big safety that likes to hit. This guy doesn't shy away from contact. He packs a punch. He brings the lunch pail when he hits. So he. Tremendous closing speed, very athletic, and he's a guy that I think Alabama has a great chance to get into the class. Another one is one to watch out for is Brian Williams, a 6'4" wide receiver. Alabama got him on campus. He had to meet Coach DeBoer. Coach Shep and Coach Morgan went to see him during spring evaluation period. They liked him, but they had to get him in front of Coach DeBoer. They got him in front of Coach DeBoer, and now Alabama's actually pushing for his commitment. He's a guy that Alabama will accept. If he's called and say, hey, I'm ready to commit, they will take his commitment right now.
I like that. So speaking of, you said that Uti would be projected as a guard. I know Chris Booker is another commitment. Are there any other big time linemen? What is it? Malachi Lee. Is he Alabama's top tackle position?
Yeah, definitely Alabama's top target at the tackle position. He's a guy that Alabama sits in a great spot with. He has an unofficial visit to Georgia this weekend, and he's also has visits lined up with Texas and Michigan. And I think it's a battle that'll eventually come down between Alabama and Michigan, but I think Alabama will win out in the end.
Oh, that's great to hear. Who else? Lou, Petty, any questions y'all have for our lead recruiting analyst, Mr. James?
We had a bunch from, I think, 5 Adam. You ought to throw those up at him, Lou.
Yeah. We're not doing the question and answer yet, Petty. It's just about recruiting.
I didn't know since they were recruiting related if we want to just hammer those, but we can save them then.
Who else? I'm trying to think. Regarding recruiting. What about
we talk about the big weekend that's coming up this week? The guys that we have coming up. Yeah, we have some big visitors coming in. This weekend is not as big as the first two, but we do have a couple of guys that's is very interesting to have on campus this weekend. We start with Brandon Arrington, 5-star cornerback out of California. I think this is a very crucial visit for Alabama and their pursuit of him. I think we're playing from behind, playing catch up with him, and but we're within striking distance, which is a great spot you want to be in with a guy like him. Another one is Nick Abrams, 4-star linebacker out of Owings Mill, Maryland. A guy that Bama likes a lot at the linebacker position. We also have a Miami commit, running back Javian Mallory. I think he's a guy that Alabama likes a lot. They've got on campus a lot of time. They went to see him in the spring evaluation period. So he's currently a Miami commit, 4-star out of Boca Raton, Florida. Roman Voss, 4-star tight end out of Minnesota, a guy that Alabama likes a lot. And another one that got added, it was reported by Andrew Bone. He does a tremendous job on BOL. That Karen Maycock, Florida State commit, linebacker commit, 4-star out of Miami Central. He's been added to the official visitor list for this weekend. So that's something we're going to be watching. See how things shake out at the linebacker position.
I want to shift gears to some of the in-state guys. I think Cedarian Morgan up his recruiting date. Xavier Crowell, big-time running back out of Jackson High. Where do we stand with those two guys?
I say Bama's the leader in the clubhouse with both of those guys. Of course, you got to continue to recruit. They haven't come in for their official visits yet. So, that's something you always want to monitor. So, but they'll be making the decision, both of them, right after the Alabama visit. And I like where Alabama sits with both of the guys.
Okay. What about the quarterback position? I think Tamathala, I'm probably butchering.
Yeah.
Forgive me. He said I think he's going back to Ames, Iowa this weekend for official. I think Alabama.
He was there this past weekend, okay. So he talked things over. It's still quiet on that end, but let me tell y'all this. If he visits Alabama again, he will be in Alabama's class. That's just how I feel about it. So that's something we'll look out for. Another one is Matt Ponatowski. A guy, is unsure what he wants to do. He wants to play both sports in college. And both of those guys Alabama will accept commits from. But let me tell you, if Jet Tamala visits Bama again, he's going to be in the class.
Things I love to hear. That's why you go to Dan James, our lead recruiting analyst. Lou, any other questions you guys have? Or I do want to end with this last one. Zion Gibson, I see he's taking his official to Tennessee this weekend. Is that more of a formality, or you think that's just a little bit of a little interest there?
There's definitely interest. He's a guy that wants to enjoy the process. Alabama understands that. They encourage their guys. Actually, Alabama is very confident in what they sell to recruits. So, they don't mind. They actually encourage it in some situations, hey, go visit. We want to make sure, that you are making the right decision for yourself and your family. And so this is just one of those things where, Alabama letting the kid be a kid, enjoy the recruiting process. He came off his Ole Miss visit and said he still likes what Alabama has to offer him. So, maybe he'll feel the same way after the Tennessee visit.
Good to hear. So exciting things coming down the pipe for Alabama recruiting. The summer rain, Courtney Morgan, Kalen DeBoer, and staff are cooking up this summer. So I'm excited to see who else will get committed to wear that crimson this fall. So, guys, let's go to our last topic. I wanted to save the best for last and just really go in on we had some questions from that. About recruiting. Okay, let's save those questions about recruiting for later. After we do this topic. So let's do this. We're going to do what is Alabama's identity? But the B part is, what does Alabama's identity need to be this year in order for Alabama to hoist that trophy at the end of the year? And you have to describe it in 2 words. So what does Alabama national championship identity need to be described in 2 words? And let's go with I'll go first. Okay, so this is what I think the 2 words that I think Alabama needs to be when you're looking at the schedule and you're looking at not only the schedule, but you're looking at those Saban teams and how when we won national championships, we were so road dominant. My 2 words is road dominant. When we would put on those white jerseys, we would go and just be dominant at other teams' stadiums. And I felt like that was a big key component of Coach Saban-led national championship teams, is that they were just so road dominant throughout the football season, whether it's going to Athens, Baton Rouge, the Swamp, Neyland Stadium, Jordan Hare, whatever. They were so road dominant. And I feel like with looking at the schedule, going to Tallahassee the first game, going to Athens, going to Jordan Hare, we've got to be road dominant. I feel like if we can be road dominant like some of the previous national championship teams, and unlike last year where I felt like when we weren't playing our best ball on the road, I feel like we need to have a different type of mindset, more of a road dominant type of mindset. And I feel like if Alabama football does that this year, they will be able to host the trophy at the end of the year. So, Petty, I'm going to let you go. And tell us, what do you think the 2 words to describe Alabama's identity in order for them to win the national championship?
Not to do the name that tune, but I think I can do it in 1 word. And it's a word that describes those road uniforms you just talked about that were so beautiful. And that's clean. Be clean, because you've got the talent. But Bama's been messy. That's the problem. This has been a messy. Bama was clean under Saban. It was a well-oiled machine that didn't make mistakes, that beat you with preparation, that beat you with just doing it the right way. And that's being clean, not sloppy, not messy. Just be a clean football program, because the talent's in that locker room to win it all.
That's great. I went with road dominant. Petty went with clean. Let's go to Dan. Give us your take on what does Alabama need to do, or describe how they need to identify this football year.
Yep, y'all, both of y'all kind of hit on it, but in 2 words, I'm gonna say discipline and tough. Tough. That's mentally and physically. The mental part of it. Going through the stretch of the SEC, the tough schedule. You got a lot of road games. I got circled that. It's gonna require mental toughness, and the second part, discipline. Last year we were ranked 123rd in penalties. Averaging 7 penalties per game. We over 13 game stretch, we had 95 penalties for 898 yards. That's almost 1,000 yards you're giving to other teams. We can't have that number this year and expect to hoist the trophy. So, those 2 words, discipline and toughness.
I like that. Discipline and toughness, clean. I said road dominant. Lou, I'm going to let you, the floor is yours. I want to get your take. And I have another, we'll go back around because I have one more that I wanted to say as well, pulling the Chris James.
Can't help it.
I know.
All right. So 2 words that describe what Alabama needs to be to me is relentless toughness. First word, relentless, in the sense that their efforts and motors need to be on a level that they ain't never been on before in their lives. I mean, what they're about to do this season has never been done in Alabama football history. Winning it and successfully defeating everybody in the 12-team football playoff. It's never been done in Alabama history. You got to be relentless. You got to have an effort that doesn't quit. You got to have that mentality that when you go into any stadium, whether we're the home team or away team, Florida, Georgia, Ohio, it doesn't matter. You have to have that mentality that you will not give up, that you are going to make the other team quit for 4 damn quarters. Second word, toughness. The GOAT himself talked about toughness. Now, it took him about 5 to 8 years to actually define that word. But once he defined that, he made that a staple in what goes into the recipe in Alabama football success. Being tough, outlasting your opponent, being disciplined, not getting caught up in the little things, turning the page, being able to successfully be hit and counter hit. Being relentlessly tough is something Alabama has not been in a very, very long time, and it's shown in the lack of championship. They get back to that relentless toughness and inflicting terror in our opponents. Guys, it's simple. They do that, we'll get back to what we truly are meant to be.
I love that. Relentless and toughness from our guy Lou. I have 2 that kind of popped off in my head. 2 words to describe Alabama. Alabama needs to be mistake-free. I feel like it goes to your point, Dan, about being disciplined. If they, or Daniel Petty being clean, if they can be mistake-free throughout the year and not make those mistakes and have cause other teams to make those mistakes, I think that can help us. And to all of you guys' point, especially to Lou saying relentless and toughness, Alabama just need to get back to being the bullies on the block. I know that's 3 words, but they just need to get back to being bullied. It was when Alabama would play teams, they would have such a psychological advantage over the opposing team that when they cut on the film, they were like, golly, I do not want to have to play these guys. And I know we lost Saban. We had a transition year. We had a down year last year, according to Alabama standards. But if we can start the year off and kind of put some films together, even in the SEC, that like this Alabama team is versatile, they're relentless, they're physical, they're bullies, and get back to kind of having that psychological aspect advantage over opposing teams by being that physical and bullies on the block. I think Alabama will hoist that trophy at the end of the year. Lou?
But now I know we're all saying what Bama's identity needs to be, but I think and I truly believe that the proof is in the word. Alabama needs to find its identity. They need to be a team of themselves. They don't need to be a team. I know we compare players and a lot of other stuff and things of that nature, but they need to find their own damn identity. They can't go off of what Alabama has been labeled as in the past. They have to find what they're best at and exploit the living shit out of that the whole damn season.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what that is yet, but I for damn sure know Kalen DeBoer does. And he got a plan. And it's up to these players to execute the plan. Execution.
Well, I think we gave I don't know if y'all are fired up, ready to go play, but y'all got me riled up and ready to go out there and execute and ball and be relentless and competitive and dominate, all the different words we describe Alabama winning the Natty. So let's get to the chat. I want to hear some questions and answers or some comments. I know they've been firing off in the comment section because y'all doing a great job. 5 Adam says, do we have a chance to get Anthony Tank Jones? That is to Dan, I lead recruiting analyst. You're on mute. Oh, you're
on your camera.
Turn the camera off. Huh? I think we do. We have a great chance to land them. It'll come down to the in-state schools, I think, but you still have schools like Miami, who we visited last weekend or this weekend, and you got Texas A&M. But I think it'll eventually come down to the 2 in-state schools. But definitely Alabama definitely has a great opportunity to land them.
Great question. Do we have a chance to get J.J. Finch?
J.J. Finch, yes, definitely. Alabama likes him. Likes him a lot, and he's a guy they're pushing for. We're in a battle. You got LSU. I would lean right now, but we'll see if he visits again in the fall. But I like Alabama and LSU between the 2 of them with J.J. Finch.
Is he from the lineage of the Finch from Wildcats?
Good question. Never know.
Football. And Finch, man, he better watch that locker with Finch around.
Ooh.
It says going to the defensive tackle position, Titan Davis, Nolan Wilson, and Emmanuel Ruffin. Damn.
Yeah. If today was signing day, I project the first 2 in the class. Emmanuel Ruffin, I think he said a decision date soon. I think he's gonna go elsewhere. So we're definitely in the driver's seat with Titan Davis and Nolan Wilson.
Where do you see Ruffin going?
I'm not sure. All I can say right now is not Bama.
So you predicting Davis and Nolan Wilson if we had to sign right now?
Yes.
Okay, got it. Great questions. Appreciate that, 5 Adam. Thanks for joining the final whistle. Let's see what we have next. I know we got some funny comments and questions. Todd says, does this happen? Jet Washington and Edwards at safety, Edmonds, Gibson, cornerback, Griffin, linebacker, Tank, Justin Hill, good defense. If we have all that, I would be ecstatic.
We'll let Lou answer that. He'll answer that in one word.
Damn. I mean, you can't forget Edmonds in that too. I mean,
all right.
Yeah, he got Edmonds in there.
Oh yeah, he had Edmonds.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Damn. We get that. I will be.
Justin Hill is already in the class.
Yeah, Justin Hill gonna be a freshman All-American this season, my guy. If we get that if we get all them, we gonna have the #1 recruiting class.
Yeah.
Put it that way. we get everything that you have in that line, we will have the number one recruiting class, and you can at me about it.
Is Leon Sandcastle a possibility, or is he locked into Colorado? Petty?
He's a possibility to be locked into a jazz club somewhere. Leon Sandcastle with the smooth sounds from the 60s. Is he a real person? Is that a guy?
That's
My question. Okay, let me ask you this. Is Michael Ford ever going to pan out? Because by God, I'm still sold that he had the greatest running back video of all time prior to Noel Devine when he signed with Bama, and I'm still waiting on him to be the next Barry Sanders, as I predicted. So you answered that, man. Y'all remember Michael Ford? I think he was around when you were, Matt, right?
I thought Joe McKnight was the best high school film I've seen from running back.
Go pull up Michael Ford, who signed with Bama mid-2000s. It's Barry Sanders. He was Barry Sanders out of the state of Florida. I liked his video better than Noel Devine's.
No, Noel Devine's highlight tape is one of the stupidest things that
go find Michael Ford's. Go back and watch
Joe McKnight, Reggie Bush's.
Michael Ford looked like Reggie Bush. Every highlight, he was doing a spin move and taking off for 80 yards. And I saw Noel's as well, but people sleep on Michael Ford. I wish people remember that. Y'all really don't know who Leon Sandcastle is? Look, Dan, I'll be honest. I'm sitting here like taking notes from Dan. Until they sign, I don't really give a shit because I feel like you tell me, man, that like until the NIL stuff's done, and I know that the House settlement maybe gets some kind of control on that. We'll see. But now we're just going to get back to the under the table cheating instead of the over table. No, I don't know who Leon said. Is that I thought it was a joke. Van, I'll be honest.
It is.
I assume it's a joke.
That Deion Sanders alter ego in the commercial.
That's why I'm glad I answered the way I did with Michael Ford.
Kenneth says, y'all going to any games this year? I think we plan to go to
on it.
What kind of games are you talking about?
Petty's going to be at the official opening.
Football games, Daniel, not bar drinking games.
Yeah, what kind of like?
Petty's going to be at the Denny Dog celebration grand opening.
Damn right. What game? Yeah, I know October 6th is Alumni Day. That's always a possibility for the Petty family because it gets a chance the wife on the field and I get to come back. You got one back. No, I knew it was fake, man. But I mean, I don't follow recruiting, so he might as well be a real person too. I don't know. Are we coming to games? I know what y'all got planned.
To be determined. Got a few things.
I know I will be down in Georgia for the Georgia game. I will be going down to South Carolina for that game, and I haven't decided on which home games I'm going to go to because I want to go to Vanderbilt, but I don't know if I can bring myself to actually buy a ticket for that trash and watch it.
Revenge game, man.
Yeah, but I mean, you don't kill an ant with a sledgehammer, man. I don't really think I need to be a witness to that. You know what I mean? I feel like I might have to go to that LSU game. Might have to go to LSU.
Oh crap! That's October 4th. That's the one I might be in town for. That's Vanderbilt. Damn it.
Petty. Somebody said a question. Sydney Sweeney or Margot Robbie in Wolf of Wall Street. Which one are you taking?
Oh, Margot Robbie. That's
Margaret face, Sydney body.
Okay.
I got a little brother in me when it comes to the, only if she's 5'6", come on, 36, come on. We got to have a little meat on them bones.
She's Australian.
Yeah.
That puts her in she's foreign.
She's
foreign.
Margaret's next level smoke show. Look, if we're talking,
that's elite. Does she have any competition or no?
I don't think so. She's one of the.
Are these actors we're talking about? I'm sorry.
Hell yeah.
Are these actors models or what? What are they?
We're talking about actresses.
Wolf of Wall Street, and she has the
actresses
best scene I've seen.
Do you not know
the Duchess of Bay Ridge?
Dan,
the Duchess of Bay Ridge scene. That was.
If they're not in Star Wars, if she was in Star Wars, you know who she was.
I know.
When Leonardo DiCaprio is like, you just gotta go watch it. Go watch it.
I'm gonna. Hey, not suitable for work. It shows her boobies.
Oh,
Thank God.
Look at Petty. Petty knows the timestamp and everything.
Yeah,
Who
dude,
doesn't know the
I grew up
timestamp?
with
It's
Fast
like an
Times at
hour.
Dude, I'm the kid that grew up with Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Knew when Phoebe Cates went, woo! That dude sitting in the back room wasn't the only one.
Petty had the fastest finger on the remote to previous channel. Like, switch back to TTIL.
I didn't know it. Margaret Robbie has a face. If you ain't noticed that one, God bless.
Van said, I didn't know either one of them had a face. Hilarious. Oh, man. Well, thanks for y'all, you guys in the chat. Kennedy, Van, Todd, Brian Russell, Lisa Ross. Lisa Ross said she was thinking about focus and physical. That's pretty good. Troy G5 Adam with the great questions. Y'all were amazing. Tune in next week. Tell a friend about the show, how we add different perspectives about Alabama football. So how can they follow the cast? And let's start with Dan.
Okay, definitely. You can find me on X at the Final Whistle Dan, Instagram Dan James IV, Facebook Dan James IV. Catch me here on Tuesday nights. Final Whistle with my cast, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. Catch me on the Bama Standard Network, doing little videos every now and then. So just stay tuned.
Stay tuned, Petty. How can they find you? Our Wolf of Wall Street.
You can find me, I guess, on a wanted poster and probably running from my wife if she ever overhears our shows. Like, man, I come out just ducking, hoping she ain't sitting on the outside of that door. Man, you can find me at Petty_Daniel. You can always catch me here on Tuesday nights with the best bunch of guys on the planet, the Avengers. But man, I'm in some other spots on Mondays. I do the opening kick with my man Gerald Smoke Dixon. Man, check out last night's show. If you have any questions about what's going on in the NCAA settlement case, we did a really good job of cleaning that up and putting it in layman's terms. It was actually a pretty fire-ass show. So check me out Monday nights with my guy Smoke Dixon, 7 Central. And I'm on the Bama Standard the following night at 6 Central. And then, I'm here with these guys. That's the most important thing. You're here with us on Tuesday nights, checking out the Avengers, giving you the most important Bama knowledge.
Lou, how can they find us, and will you close this out, sir?
Yes. You can find me on X, Rolu241, I think it is. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram, Lucian Graves. I'm always talking Bama football. And most importantly, you can find me on Tuesday nights on the Final Whistle Network, talking about the greatest football team coached by the greatest coach in this good country. And ladies and gentlemen, we like to end the show with 2 words y'all know and love. Roll that gum tide. And we don't give a piss about that time. Shout out to Georgia for staying out of speeding trouble.
That means all my VHSs are fuzzy then, Van.